Ever since I was old enough to, I have always worked. I used to do a little bits and bobs for my auntie in a furniture shop when I was quite young, and then when I was old enough to get a real job, I worked part-time at a newsagent's down my road. And then when I was old enough to get an even more proper job, I worked within a large corporate organisation from the age of 17. And when I started there, I had so much drive and ambition, and I just wanted to work my way to the top. I've always been that way inclined when it comes to business. I've always been quite ambitious. And when I started there, I would see all the managers kind of, walking around, doing their thing, looking really, really important. And I thought, that's going to be me one day. So there I was, I started right at the bottom and I did my job for a little bit, and then I saw that there was an opening to do induction training. And I thought, oh my God, this is just perfect for me. I've got to apply for this. So basically it was to train the new recruits that came in, let them know about the company, how it works, train them on the tills, train them on the equipment, give them uniform, lockers, etc, etc. I applied and I got it, and I was so thrilled, absolutely thrilled. It was right up my street. It was a little bit like presenting. It was just for me. Anyway, I was literally just about to start the induction training for a whole load of new recruits that were coming in, when all of a sudden my company decided to change all their policies. And to become an induction trainer, you would have to be a section coordinator, which is sort of one up from just the regular run-of-the-mill person. Okay, that's fine. Let me try and apply to be a section coordinator. Oh no, you can't be a section coordinator because your department's not big enough. That's the only department that I can work on. So that was that dream squashed. It kind of set me back a bit. But I always had this drive and I always wanted to achieve, and I kept on asking management and people within the company to kind of let me do more, let me apply for more and progress. But they never believed in me, and they never seemed to want to give me a chance. And I think it's very important that within business you give people chances, and I really feel that I was unable to progress within that company because of my disability. So you may have heard of the glass ceiling. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the glass ceiling is an unacknowledged barrier to advancement in a profession, especially affecting women. But I really felt like there was the glass staircase preventing me from going further. I would like to, put this open to you. I mean, have you ever been in employment and felt like you haven't been able to progress? And also, once you have got a job, have you been able to keep the job? I was actually made redundant and there was really nowhere for me to progress to. So I left that job where I worked for 12 years. I also loved. I did a few bits on my own, then I started up this, Wheelsnoheels. But I've recently sort of come to the conclusion that I need to get a little part-time job on the side of this to supplement the income. So at the end of last year, I decided to take some of my own advice from my how to get a job in a wheelchair and apply for some jobs. I applied for a few jobs, didn't really find anything that I liked, and then I come across a job, a part-time job in the evenings, looks perfect. It's at a gym. Now, before anyone jumps to any conclusions, gyms tend to be quite wheelchair accessible. Not all of them, but some of them, especially the new build ones. And I know a friend who works out at this gym, so I was like,
hey, is this gym wheelchair accessible?
Yes, I've seen a person work out on wheels before.
oh my God, this is all looking really promising. So I apply for the job, I get some questions back. I nail these questions. I really want this job. I just felt that it was going to be perfect. Everyone was, motivated. It was like a really good environment for me to be in. So I get there. There's no parking. There are no dropped curbs. There are vans parked up on the pavement or the sidewalk if you're in America. I had to wheel in the road. It was a nightmare getting there. I get there, I get to the door, I see the ramp, but I can't open the door. The door is just too heavy. So this man, the size of the Hulk with his bodybuilding belt on, opens the door for me and lets me in. Fabulous. So I'm looking around this gym, it's all on one level, and then I look to the side of me and the reception desk is at standing height. It's not looking good. You know, I let them know that I'm here for the job interview. And fair play to the assistants behind the desk. They were very poker face. I do wonder what they were thinking, but they were really lovely, really welcoming. Let me come in, give me some water. Then the lady who's doing the interview comes over. She's really lovely, smiles, shakes my hand and says, look, the interview actually needs to take place upstairs and we don't have a lift. Not looking good. She said, let's go next door. So we went next door to this coffee house and, you know, she explains to me that I would have to lift equipment, clean equipment, the reception area is at waist height, there's the upstairs office that I wouldn't be able to get to, no disabled changing rooms, no disabled bathroom, there's no disabled parking, it's not going to work. That job was out. She was nice enough and she said, you know, if anything comes available where you can work at home, then, you know, you might be able to help us with that, but at the moment I don't think this is going to work. Okay, I was so sad. I worked so hard to get the interview. I got myself all spruced up. I had everything prepared. Now there was a part of me that thought before this interview I should email and check that it's wheelchair accessible and that this job would be suitable for a wheelchair user. But would you have done that? And the reason I didn't do that was because I wanted to make up my own mind as to whether it was going to be suitable for me. I am the best person to know if the job is suitable for myself. I didn't want someone else to make that call. I also didn't want someone else to be put off from hiring me because of my disability. Now I think this is really sad that I have to act this way, you know, because it's just such a massive part of who I am. There's no, you know, getting away from it. I don't think we should feel scared to say that we have a disability. Obviously there's nowhere that you have to state it when you're applying for a job. People often assume and make their own assumptions about what a disabled person can and can't do. Quite a lot of people don't even think that I'm able to order a coffee in Starbucks because I'm mentally incapable, which is just not true. There are so many assumptions people make about disabled people that really need to be changed. I also then applied for another telephone position. I thought maybe this time I will ask if the building is wheelchair accessible before I go any further. I had the initial interview and then she said, I'll call you back and let you know, the outcome. And then she said, will you be able to attend the interview? And I said, yes. Is the building wheelchair accessible? And she kind of paused and then said, yes. Anyway, I got a call back saying, oh, we don't think that you're going to be suitable for the position, but thank you for your time anyway. Then I got a call from the recruitment consultant and she was like, Gem, I don't know what happened. You know, you are more than capable for this job. I don't know why she deemed that you are not able to do this job, even overqualified for this telephone position. And I was like, yeah. And then I was thinking, I wonder if it was because I mentioned that I was disabled. You know, and in actual fact, I didn't mention that I was disabled. I just asked if the building was wheelchair accessible. But it just goes to show you, it's just such a grey area and it makes me feel very vulnerable. It makes me feel very nervous around it, which it shouldn't be. So I feel that even to try and get a job or to progress within a company, there is the glass staircase. And I really think that this needs to be changed. I really think that we need to break down these barriers. We need to smash that glass staircase and sweep it up with a broom, because we are fantastic people. We think completely differently to able-bodied people. We have a completely different method to get from A to B. We are so good at problem solving because we have to be to live our everyday life. On the 5th of March, the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, Amber Rudd, did a speech on disability and the welfare system with intentions of changing the landscape of disabled people in Britain. And she highlighted that there should be more support to help disabled people into employment. So how can we get more disabled people into employment? It's a good question, and I would love to know what you think down below. Amber Rudd has said that she wants to work with disabled people to help guide the industries into getting more people into employment. In her speech, she acknowledged that there is a big problem, there is a big divide, and something needs to be changed. However, nothing has been addressed into how this can be changed. I would love to know what you think. I would love to know how you think that it can be changed. Would you like to work if you're not currently working? What do you think you could do? What do you think could be made better? I'd love to know your thoughts, and I'm quite tempted to email this video to Amber Rudd because I would love to help and get involved in this. It's a subject that I'm very passionate about. I like to think that Wheelsnoheels is a platform that can give disabled people a voice. And so with this, I can be your voice. So make sure to leave your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Bit topical, bit serious. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye!